that feeling when a chat with AI starts out great, and then somewhere around message 30, it just kind of falls apart? It starts repeating itself, or it forgets something you told it 10 minutes ago, or it just feels off. Most people's instinct is to go, did I break it? Or is it just getting dumber? Nope, there's actually a really simple reason this happens, and once you get it, you'll know exactly when to push through and when to just start fresh. That's what we're going to cover today. Let's start with a quick recap. We've talked about how AI can remember things about you automatically across different chats, and you've never even had to explicitly ask it to save those things. That's called memory. We've also talked about how you can just tell it things directly, set the tone you want, give it context about yourself. You can do that once and have it carry forward. That's called system instructions. And finally, we've talked about projects. Basically a shared folder of context for one big thing you're working on, so you're not repeating yourself every time. It's kind of a bucket of memory. So memory it builds on its own, stuff you hand it directly, and a shared space for bigger work. That's most of the map. But there's one piece left. And it's the one that actually explains that why did this chat go sideways feeling. Here's the piece. Everything happening inside one single conversation. Every time you send a message, the AI doesn't just read your latest message. It rereads the entire conversation from the very top every single time. Your messages, its replies, any file you dropped in, all of it. That's the only reason it remembers what you told it 5 minutes ago in the chat. It's not recalling it, it's rereading the whole thing from scratch. And there's a real limit to how much it can reread at once. That limit has a name. Context window. And it's not some vague gets full eventually thing. You can actually picture the size of it. For most everyday AI chats, it's somewhere in the ballpark of a few hundred pages of a book. Sounds like a lot, but if you've pasted in a long document, or you're 50 messages deep into a back and forth, or you've had it draft and redraft the same thing a bunch of times, that actually adds up faster than people expect. Now, some AI tools will try to help before you hit that wall, quietly summarizing the older parts of a long conversation to free up more room, which sounds great in theory, but here's the catch. That summary is a compressed version, not the original. So it tends to hang on to whatever's most recent and lets earlier details, maybe an instruction you gave at the start or a correction you made halfway through, get quietly smoothed over or dropped. Which, if you think about it, is actually the real answer to why did it forget something I specifically told it. It's not that it ignored you, it's that a summary of the conversation replaced the actual conversation at some point. So you can picture it kind of like a desk. Everything from this conversation is sitting out on it, and it just keeps piling up the longer you go. Your messages, its replies, whatever you've pasted in, eventually that desk is going to get overcrowded. And just to be clear, this is completely separate from the automatic memory or projects we already covered, because those carry over between chats. This is just what's happening within the one single chat you're in right now, and once you leave, none of it sticks unless it's been saved somewhere else. So what happens when that desk gets too full? The AI is still trying to consider everything on it every time it answers you, which means the more piled up it gets, the harder it is to stay focused on what actually matters right now. It might latch onto something you said a while back that's no longer relevant, it might lose the thread of an instruction you gave it early on, and answers can start feeling vaguer or repetitive or just a little bit off. Again, it's not broken and it's not even actually getting worse, it's just a natural side effect of how much it's juggling. So here's the useful part. When do you start a new chat and when do you just keep going? Honestly, it comes down to one question. Are you still working on the same thing or are you starting something new? Say you're going back and forth, revising the same cover letter, round 3, round 4, tweaking a line here, a line there. That's the same thing. Every earlier round is useful context for the next one, so you keep going in the same chat. Now say you finish that cover letter and 20 minutes later you want help figuring out what to cook for dinner. That's not a new round of the same task, that's genuinely a new thing. And if you ask it in the same chat, you're not just changing topics, you're making it reread your entire cover letter conversation just to tell you what to make for dinner. So for something like that, a new chat every time would be a better idea. But there's actually one more case worth knowing as well, because it trips people up. Sometimes you're still working on the same thing, but the conversation itself has just gotten long and you start noticing that drift we've been talking about. It's repeating itself or missing something you said a while back. In that case, don't just push through in the same chat and don't necessarily abandon it either. You can ask it to summarize where things stand currently and then copy that summary and paste it as the first message in a brand new chat. So you keep a lot of the important context, but you're handing it over on a clean slate instead of a cluttered one. So you can think of, you're moving from this fully cluttered desk to a new empty one and you're just taking a couple papers over. You might miss a little bit of context, but now at least you have space to see and think. So it's really two questions. Is it a new thing? New chat. Is it the same thing but starting to feel foggy? Summarize it, then start fresh with that summary in hand. And that's all. So now you've got the whole map. What it remembers about you on its own, what you can tell it to remember about you directly, what a project hold on to for a bigger body of work, and now what's just happening in the conversation right in front of you right now. 4 pieces. You already knew 3 of them, now you've got all 4. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.